Hey, greetings of peace, everybody. My name is Imhotep. I'm broadcasting on behalf of 13scienceastrology.com. I'm doing this video on an inquiry that was asked of me a few days ago about the zombie attacks that have been going on. It's about the zombie attacks. And to be honest with you, when I first heard about this, I thought it was something that was more so being talked about on the underground media. And I didn't realize until I went to one of my favorite restaurants or whatever, this particular Indian restaurant that I go to. I didn't realize until I went in there that I was watching the news in there, and I realized that this zombie attack thing was being covered by CNN. And I'm like, interesting. So I chose to look into it. I found out that there's been several attacks across the United States from people that they're calling zombies. One particular attack that stuck out to me was in Florida. A guy bit a piece of a man's face off. I believe he was Haitian. He bit a piece of a man's face off or whatever. This guy apparently was carrying around the Bible for a certain amount of time, and some people were saying he was possessed, and he felt like he was possessed or whatever. And yeah, they're calling these zombie attacks. Now, when you start dealing with the media and you start researching the media, you'll learn that they use certain words very, very strategically. When they call something like zombie attacks, when they use and put definitions and terms on things, you have to always research the exact term that they're using, because they're using certain words for certain reasons. They're using certain words for certain reasons. And people thought I was crazy. Like when I was talking about the Illuminati, the real Illuminati, or a group of reptilian shapeshifters, and when I was talking about the Illuminati, even though I just recently started putting out videos, but even when I first started, a lot of people were like, oh man, you're crazy, there ain't no such thing as reptilians, and you're talking about these reptilians doing this and doing that. And then when I came out with the quarantine information, and I talked about how certain energies were coming back to the planet really soon, and I talked about how you have to build up a psychic self-defense so that you can defend yourself from certain energies, people just think I'm up here ranting and raving about things. But then when you get on the news and you start to hear terms like zombies being used, it should make you wonder. And I know most people, see, you guys don't do your research. A lot of people, like, you guys just, when you think about zombies, you think about the movies, you think about, you know, all these different movies where zombies take over the planet and stuff like that. And that's coming. That's coming too. But I'm saying zombieism is deeper than even that. And you have to research the word to find out exactly what it means. Now, zombieism goes back to voodoo. And in voodoo, they believe that you have two souls. They believe that you have a greater soul, which when you die or when you transform, this soul goes and ascends immediately to the fourth dimension. And then you have what's called a lesser soul that stays in your body for a certain amount of time. And they believe that the lesser soul can be resurrected. And basically that someone can be reanimated. A person that's been named the deceased and marked dead can be reanimated through the lesser soul. And when a person is reanimated, they have certain spells that you can learn in West Africa, which is where voodoo comes from, but they also do it in Louisiana and in Haiti, because voodoo is very prevalent, and in Florida, parts of Florida, voodoo is very prevalent there, and anywhere where Haitians have settled, really, in general. But these are spots where voodoo is really popular. They believe that you can resurrect the lesser soul, and in that you create what's called a zombie. So that's where the concept of zombieism comes from. Now, they were taught this concept of zombieism by reptilians. When you research the term zombie, you'll find out that the term zombie was a god, was a snake deity that was indigenous to the tribes of Guinea, which is in West Africa. So the tribes of Guinea dealt with zombie, which was a deity. Keep that in mind. Just like some people believe in Jesus. Well, zombie is a deity. And when you pronounce the term zombie, you're calling on and you're invoking a deity. So when you look into the news and the media, you see them using this term zombie, they're not using this term loosely. They're calling it the zombie attacks. This is the name they're using mostly in the media for it. And it's a reason for that. They could have called it the flesh-eating attacks or anything, but they're using the term zombie. You have to ask yourself a few things. One thing is, why are these attacks happening? Why are these attacks happening now? Another thing you got to ask yourself is, what's really going on? What's provoking these people to attack people? Now, why are these attacks happening now? I answered that first. These attacks are happening now because I talked about this energy that is coming to the planet, and I told you that certain people are already channeling in and harnessing this energy, and it's a certain type of energy that's coming to this planet that's going to cause certain groups of people that have the reptilian gene that dominates them and other genetics that dominates them. They're going to start turning in on people and start eating people. And I told you that these guys eat people, these reptilians. They're flesh-eating entities, and they eat people. And there's people that have the reptilian gene that dominates them right now walking the planet. These are what you call your reptilian hybrids. Now, you have a group of reptilians that are straight-up reptilian that look just like lizards. You don't see them. A lot of people, not yet. You're going to see them soon. Mark my words. It might not be now, or it might not be next year, but I'm talking about in a few years. You're going to be seeing that on the news. You're going to be seeing that on the news. Reptilians, real live lizard type people on the news. But right now, it's the hybrids. They're being activated. And a reptilian hybrid is one who has a reptilian trait that dominates him. And if a reptilian was to abduct this particular person, they could do a simple medical procedure on them and make them into basically a dominant reptilian being, meaning that they think like a reptilian species or a reptilian alien or extraterrestrial or interterrestrial, just depending on how you look at it. So that's what's going on. That's basically why it's happening. It's the genes being activated. And it's through the reptilians, and now they're turning in on people on the surface. These particular beings. See, we're in the time now with this new energy coming to the planet. We're going into the fourth dimension, as I always talk about. But this is going to cause a lot of energies that we've never dealt with and interfaced with in our DNA. When I say energies, I'm talking about your DNA is going to be penetrated by, and your light body is going to be penetrated by certain energies that have never came on this planet. So in that, basically what's going to happen is going to cause a lot of people that have certain genes and genetics that dominate them to begin to turn on other people and other species. And that's what's happening with this whole zombie attacks thing. It's basically people that have the reptilian gene dominating them. They're beginning to go at and attack regular people or whatever. And these are, you got to remember, they eat human flesh. This is what reptilians do. So this is what's going on with the whole zombie thing. I mean, when you research the term zombie, it actually even goes back to witchcraft. So that's why I'm saying you got to ask yourself not only why it's happening, but who's behind it. Because this reptilian is behind it, but it's a certain form of witchcraft that the reptilians know how to use and know all about, that they're basically using to cause these energies to penetrate and activate in certain people that are already prone to basically the reptilian trait anyway. Because you got to think, 5 years ago, you never seen anything on the news about people attacking people and eating people. Now, you always heard about your Jeffrey Dahmers and all of that. So we know that it's common. We know that these things happen, but it's happening way more. See, Jeffrey Dahmer was basically had the reptilian gene that dominated in him. So he was definitely a reptilian. This is why he was eating people. Anybody that's prone to eating people and cannibalism, these are people that have the reptilian gene that dominates in them. If you have a taste for flesh and bloodthirstiness, this means you have the reptilian gene that dominates you. Even certain murderers have the reptilian gene that dominates them. There are certain people that get a kick out of killing. They're murderers, and they have the reptilian gene that dominates them. And it doesn't matter if you're black or white, because one of the attackers was actually a Haitian. So I was trying to tell people this a long time ago. Reptilians are not just your albino, blue-eyed people. I mean, you could be a Nigerian and be prone to and susceptible to attacks, psychic attacks by reptilians, to where they can use your body as a vessel and turn you into a hybrid. Because it's easier for them to do it. They have a different form and system of medicine that they practice. The reptilians do. They have the largest medical library in the surface of our earth on this side of the universe. It's the largest medical library. So a lot of beings, when they first started coming to this planet, they started coming to this planet because of the medical library that's here. And it's way more advanced. This is more advanced than your Western medicines and all that. So they can cause people to live to be 150 years old, 200 years old. They can do advanced surgeries to where you won't even know that you partook in the surgery. They're using lasers in their surgeries, advanced lasers, to cut open various parts of the body and take out organs and then seal it back up, and it'll look like you didn't even have a surgery. I mean, they have technology like that. So when you start hearing about zombies, and the term zombie goes back to the term serpent god. This was a serpent god. See, this is what needs to be really understood. When you start dealing with zombies, that zombieism and the term zombie goes back to a serpent deity. This was a serpent deity. So this goes back to the reptilians. So they are behind this. And the media is popularizing it because they're trying to aid. See, when they put stuff in the media, they're doing it for two reasons. One reason is because this is a trend. It's something that they want people to focus on as far as energy and consciousness. And this is a voodoo ritual, because the zombieism goes back to witchcraft. You can also use the term zombie and witchcraft to invoke certain entities and energies in people. So that's one reason why they're doing it, to basically implant something in your mind based on witchcraft, you see. And another reason why they're doing it is to say that you haven't been warned, because now they warn you. See, they have a universal obligation to warn people about everything that they're going to do before they do it. When I say they, I'm speaking of the elites who are working for the ETs, or the ITs, I should say, the interterrestrial beings. They have an obligation to warn you that is consistent with universal law, that they have to warn you in advance before they do anything to you. And this is why they talked about 9/11 in movies back in the 70s. They've been knew they were going to knock down the towers. They've been knew that. Just like even Biggie said, it's time to get paid, blow up like the World Trade. They've been knew. Even the rappers knew. They're initiated into certain orders too, and they're privy to certain information. So they've been knew that they was going to knock down the World Trade Center. They planned things out. Usually things that happen on a world level are planned out 20 years or more in advance. At least 20 though. At least 20. I talked about in my last video I did on the Olympics. For those that haven't seen it, you should watch it. I talked about how they have this card game called the Illuminati. This card game came out in 1982. And in 1982, they were predicting stuff. Some of this stuff still hasn't happened yet and it's planned out. And I could decode the whole card deck. I won't do it here, but I could. Because every card in that card deck has a meaning to it, a deep meaning to it. And a lot of people are thinking that they're going to attack the Olympics because of this card game, but you have to watch that video to find out what's going to happen with the Olympics. So, but back to the zombies or whatever. I mean, so anything that comes on the news is planned out in advance. They're using the term zombie for a reason. This goes back to another spell, another ritual that they're working through the media. I'm not saying the attacks aren't happening. There are definitely people attacking and eating people. What I'm saying is that I've been talking about this, and a lot of other people on YouTube and on the internet have been talking about this, trying to tell people that there are flesh-eating reptilians out here, hybrids and real-life reptilians that eat humans. And the sacrifices and things that have been going on have been based on the reptilians eating people. The flesh is given to the reptilians in exchange for technology. Your government is working with them. They're working with them. And they have to keep putting out more and more information. Now they're talking about zombies. First it was the Trayvon Martin thing with the hoodie movement. That went back to the reptilians. See, I never did a video on that. So y'all don't even know how the Trayvon Martin thing went back to reptilians. Yeah, that goes back to reptilians too with the hoodie thing. I'll just leave it at that with the hoodie thing. If you could pick up on the symbolism of what a hoodie means, then you'll understand why that goes back to the reptilians. It's a occult reason for that. But that was the kickoff. Now they're talking about zombieism in the media. Eventually they're going to talk about ETs, and they're going to come out with full disclosure on the UFOs really soon. Really soon. So I'm not here to scare you, but you guys need to wake up. Those people that think this is crazy, people that think talking about aliens doesn't make any sense. Why am I sitting up here wasting my time talking about this? I could be doing anything else. Yeah, I could be doing anything else. But at the end of the day, see, if you really knew what reality was all about, you wouldn't feel so comfortable going to that job every day and just acting like there's nothing going on. You wouldn't feel so comfortable doing that if you knew what reality was all about. Now, I'm not telling you to go quit your job. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is that a lot of people that are working jobs are working it with a closed mind, thinking that this world is going to be this way for the next 50 and 100 years, where it's just all easy and you got your little job and you come home and watch your little television, and it's not going to be like that. See, you're going to one day come outside and there's going to be a pyramid in the air, a pyramid in the sky looking right at you one day. You see, and I'm doing a video really soon on some other topics dealing with what's coming in the end times, or the so-called end times, like what's the apocalypse really about. I'm going to do a video on that really soon. But if you guys need to really realize what's coming and what's going to happen, Your world is not what you think it is. Your world is not what you think it is. You need to, if you do any amount of research, you'll be able to see that your world is not what you think it is. And a lot of people aren't even going to listen to this. They're even going to just turn a blind eye to the zombie thing. And they're just going to say, oh, that's just a random event, you know, and it doesn't mean anything. And the news is going to stop reporting it, but it's going to still continue to go on, but the news is going to start reporting it. But that doesn't mean it's not going on. And many people are going to turn a blind eye to it. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how much you turn a blind eye to it. You're still going to have to face the facts. And the fact is that these beings, these entities are coming for your surface. They want 2/3 of the population wiped out. They want the surface back for themselves. Those people that aren't trying to raise their energy and stop drinking their water and all of this stuff and eating their meat and doing these things, you guys are really hurting yourself. You guys are really hurting yourself. It's not like a religion. I mean, I don't teach healthy living for a religion. I'm teaching this for your survival. They're putting stuff in these meats. They're making the reptilian genetics that are in all of us that are lying dormant to become active. When you eat certain meats and partake in certain activities, it activates the reptilian genetics inside of you. And I mean, yeah, we're all reptilians, but I mean, we all have reptilian genetics in us, but that doesn't mean, because I hear a lot of researchers out there like saying, well, we're all reptilians, so why even talk about that? There's nothing wrong with the reptilians. We're all reptilians. Yeah, we might have the genetics, but we got to override some of their traits and their tendencies. The reptilians are low energy creatures. They're low energy creatures. They thrive off of lower energy stuff. You see, we're supposed to be raising our energy because we are actually superior to the reptilians. We're superior to them as when I say we, those people that are trying to embrace their light body and not just trying to stay humans, but are trying to ascend. Those people that are striving to ascend, not trying, but striving to ascend, are better than the reptilians. I mean, humans in general have the potential to be better than reptilians, but it's certain work that we have to do on ourselves and opening up our chakras and raising our energy and ascending. So yeah, we're better than them. So I mean, stop eating this meat, stop drinking and partaking in their water, stop partaking so much of genetically modified foods, learn how to breathe and meditate properly. And learn how to do these things so that you can rise above what's coming to this planet. Because there's a lot of energy coming to this planet, and this energy is designed to keep you on lower level activities and lower level existence. The goal is to ascend. To ascend, the first level of it is to ascend to a higher level of consciousness. To live from your higher self predominantly, where your higher self dominates you. Your higher chakras dominate you. So that's going to do it for me on zombieism. It's an epidemic. It's coming. That's why they made all those movies back in the 70s, 80s, 90s, and early 2000s about zombies. They were preparing you. Anytime they make a movie, they're telling you something. They don't make these movies for their health. They don't just come out with this stuff out of their head. And I know we watching to get entertained, but we need to prepare. Whatever you see in the movies, this is them obligating the universal law and warning you before it comes. So yeah, it's coming. But it's not going to affect everybody. You see, because reptilians like people that eat meat. That's the thing you got to remember. So stop eating that meat and they won't want to eat you. You see, they only like people, they like flesh that partakes in flesh. Because it's seasoned up real good. You know, it tastes different. You see, they like that. So all of these women that we see, you know, brothers, it's like, oh, she thick and she got this and that and thighs and ass and all of that. She's probably a meat eater. And she's going to be eaten. So think about things before you just go on the physical all the time. Think about things. Think about things. So I'm going to go ahead and leave you with that thought. And for more enlightening information, visit my website, 13scienceastrology.com. And until we meet again, I'll leave you in peace.